Hi, everybody. Welcome to Draining the Swamp. Um, we have the wonderful Meldor, who is back from France. I'm so jealous. And we're waiting on Colleen to get here. She had told me she might be a little bit late. So when she gets here, she'll get here. She had to work. So that I understand completely. So, okay. I got stuff beeping at me and nobody's there.
Well, that's better.
Anyway, so
Light's kind of bright. I'm trying to adjust it so it's not so bright. Give me 1 second here.
yeah, take your time. I'm gonna just run through some of the housekeeping. Of course, Otter Spirit, as y'all know, I do. They got this is the Halloween pack bracelets, and they use real gemstones, top quality, top grade gemstones, and stones and whatnot. And you can order them in like the little mini beads, or you can order them in the regular size beads you would get. You can order them small, medium, or large. So if you have a little tiny wrist, you can get the small and they stay on. If you have fat wrists like me, you can get the large and they don't cut off circulation. So, and for every bracelet they sell, there's portions of that money goes to saving the wild sea otters of Monterey Bay.
Oh, wow.
And,
That's cool.
who almost went extinct. Yeah. And they also do earrings and necklaces and rings. Excuse me. I still have the cough. And,
I've got to pull this by.
and now Mel's got it.
I'm sniffing this stuff. It's called Old Boss. It's like a German embalming fluid, I think. It's about 10 times stronger.
If you decide you want to check this out, the link is in the description box below. If you use my link, you can get 20% off your purchase. And if you buy $99 or more, you'll get 30% off. You just use the link down below and you use the little coupon code that they've got there. And of course, the wonderful Androniki skincare. I love this stuff. Andrew should be getting back from Europe sometime, I think next month. I know I've talked with him off and on since he went. I tried not to bug him too much. I was like, dude, you're on vacation. Enjoy yourself, He's like, no, I'm still working. I'm like, yeah. I was like, you're on vacation. Enjoy yourself.
He does work from Europe. I think he goes to the Netherlands and he does design as well. So
yeah. And well, he created the new intro for me. I didn't play it tonight. I did our intro for Draining the Swamp, but he did one for my channel that just blew me away. I was like, oh my God, because he had said, oh, send me what you're working on and I'll see if I can tweak it. And then he sends me this fantastic intro that just blew me away. And he did one for Marina as well, which she was just tickled about. And so he's truly gifted in that way. And
videos together for me too. Intros and outros. So
yeah. So I told him, he said, well, we can work on outros. I said, when you get back from Europe, I said, go enjoy yourself. Don't think about me. I said, we'll work on me when you come back. I'm not going anywhere. So it was like, okay. But he has wonderful skincare products. As y'all know, I'm always bragging about it. I love his skincare products. They're not overly expensive. They're very, very reasonably priced compared to what you would pay at any department store for the big brand names, and they work better. So that's and we don't get paid any money for saying that. We're saying it because we use it, we like it, and we want other people to try it.
Great stuff, I want to tell you, it doesn't break the bank.
It really, yeah, and you don't break. I mean, hell, even I can afford it. So, it's not bad if I can swing it. And then let's see, we've got Election Truth Alliance, which is Nathan and I forget the other two co-founders. I know his name because he does all the promotional stuff. But they have been steadily dropping new information, new reports almost daily for the last few weeks of more proof of fraud taking place with the elections and how to go forward and prevent it from happening anymore. And so, along with Election Truth Alliance, there's also smartelections.us. They do basically the same thing, except they're based on the West Coast, where Nathan and them, I believe, are all based on the East Coast. But they share information. They've gone on shows together to show the work that they're doing, what's similar, what's different. So that's really good to see. And then if you would like to contact the wonderful Mr. Dorr, you can go to his YouTube channel, meldor.com/YouTube, or you can go to his website, which is www.meldor.com, right?
Yes.
And or you can call his office at 847-590-5411. And
my 3 trips for next year are posted. The brochures are posted on my website. So
yes,
I'm excited because go ahead.
One is the Danube. You'll be going in May. The other is
the Danube.
Say that.
The Danube is going to start in Prague. Now, some people have done a Danube trip with me, but this one's going to be the opposite way. In other words, this one's going to start in Prague and end in Budapest. The other one started in Romania and ended in Budapest. And then they're going to, if you want to pay a little extra, you can stay a couple of days at the end of the trip in Budapest and enjoy Budapest. So it's a really neat city. It's going to be a fun trip.
Cool. And then you're going to be in Galapagos in September of 2026.
That one starts in Quito, Ecuador. We view Quito. There's some UNESCO sites there. UNESCO World Heritage sites are incredible. We'll tour Quito for a couple of days. Altitudes are like right around 9,000 feet, so it's not really bad. And then after we tour Quito, we'll fly to a point where we'll get on the boat and we'll go all around the Galapagos Islands and see all the different animals. The Galapagos Islands, Charles Darwin went there once, but that was one of the places that helped him formulate his theory of evolution. Whether or not you believe in evolution is irrelevant. You just get to go see all the wonderful animals. So
yeah, so that's always a lot of fun. And let's see. Then we've got Mel is also working on a trip to Iceland for the next eclipse.
Yes, that's going to be August the 8th. I don't know if you've got
I don't have that info up yet, so I don't have a banner for that, but it'll be there next time around.
It's going to be August the 8th. I think the eclipse is the 12th or the 13th. I forget the exact date. And the temperature in Iceland at that time of the year is probably going to be like, in the 50s or low 60s during the day, but they have daylight for pretty much of the entire day. I think it's 22 hours or something, or 23 hours or whatever, 20 hours, whatever it is. I think there's only about, 3 hours of almost dusk, but we won't be able to see the northern lights on this trip because it's light all day. But it's a great spot for viewing the total eclipse. People have asked me.
So cool.
People have asked me about going to Egypt to see the total eclipse in 2027, and I said I'd put a trip together. But when I talked to the folks over at Mayflower Cruises and Tours, and their trips are wonderful, they said that they put it together, but at the time the eclipse is going to happen in Egypt is going to be just ungodly hot, like 115, 118 degrees, and that's just too hot. So I figured I put together Iceland because the temperatures in the high 50s, low 60s. It's not miserable. It's nice. And people can see the eclipse. So there you go.
Awesome, awesome. And then you've got Benicio,
Benicia.
Benicia,
Benicia
and that's coming up with
in November.
Linda, and you can get the information on her website,
Right.
and which I don't have a graphic for, but I meant to pull one up and save it, and I forgot.
You just go lindagrindle.com
Yeah.
/events and then Benicia. It's sold out, but we'll do more events in the future. However, I'm excited about Benicia. And then after that, we're going to go away Thanksgiving for a few days, and then maybe at Christmas, but then no more travel until May of next year. So
we will have them all to ourselves.
a lot of travel right there. It happened. Well, I had to cancel 2 trips because I was going to go to Slovakia at the end of April and teach, and I got sick. And then my trip in May on the yacht to the Italian and French Riviera, I couldn't go because but I had a couple trips planned, these 3 trips planned in September and in October, and they were back to back. I'd get home from one, and 4 days later, I'd leave for another one. Then I'd be home for 5 days and leave for another one. So
exactly. And last but not least, in case she does make it, I've already sent her an email and said, "Hey, we're waiting on you." And if you would like to contact
somebody says the
information.
Colleen, somebody says the information on the Galapagos Island trip says September of 2025. It's September of 2026.
Okay. I'll go in and make that correction. And I thought it said, it says 2026, both of them.
Oh, okay. Let me
just
hold on while you're putting it. Oh, all right. Let me check. Let me just check on mine. Maybe it's wrong on my website.
Maybe it's wrong on yours. They're talking about. Well, and this is Colleen's information, the Cool Crone. She does polyterology, which I do one with her the first Friday of every month. With the gang, it's usually she and myself and Cleo, and off and on different people like Mel. This coming Friday is Halloween, and I'm helping Colleen with that. We're having a big Halloween party over on the Cool Crone's channel, so y'all be sure you check in for that. We will all be in costume, and so that will be a lot of fun. And yeah, I think I'm talked out with everything. So Mel, what's going on that you would like to maybe talk about to get started with?
Well,
anything you might have seen in the news or
well, I haven't watched the news for almost 11 days, but there are a few things I want to touch on. We talked about on Linda's show today. One of them was, whenever I take my trips, I post pictures of where I'm at. And, it's a nice break to get away from the politics. But somebody commented while I was gone on one of the pictures I put up that, everything is such a mess here at home that something about why was I posting these photos of my travel. And my response was and is, you can still have joy in life and take a trip and put up photos and still have our voices heard here at home and, and be vocal about the injustices going on here at home. One doesn't negate the other. And so I just said, it's about spreading a little bit of joy in the world. And that's what my trips are for, to spread some joy. And a lot of people who can't travel, maybe who are housebound or can't afford it, enjoy seeing the pictures because they get to see places that maybe they've thought of going, they can't, but it takes them there in their mind. And people seem to love it. So I will continue to post my pictures. Another thing is, we've been getting comments from people that say they just are tired. They just want to give up. They're tired of the battle. Well, that's what the regime wants. They want
Yeah,
us to be
that's their goal.
they want us to be afraid and tired and just throw our hands up and go along with what they want. But they're
Yeah.
not giving up. The regime is not giving up. They
No,
continue on with bam, bam, bam. Excuse me. And that's a lesson we can learn from them, that we can't give up. I get frustrated.
exactly.
I get tired. I get angry. I think, what's all this about? But I keep doing it because I step out of that fear and I step out of that anger. And it's about letting our voices be heard. I mean, look at this No King's Day
Oh,
event. I mean,
registered amount was, they said, almost 8 million, but from all calculations on the amount of people that showed up, plus those who were registered, they're saying probably 20 million plus.
and I can see those. Uh,
And it was across the globe. There
I,
were other countries
I,
who
I,
have kings who are having No King's Day marches in their country in
I
support of us,
I
so
can see the assemblies here getting, I say assemblies because we have the right for peaceful assembly. I can see them getting as high as maybe 80 million people or more,
yeah.
and much more frequent. Um, people are
I
nervous
tell
about
you,
the midterms.
if
Well,
he
Donald
had pulled that crap on the East Wing before the march, it would have been triple what we saw.
right. Well, we're going to see more.
Yeah,
The other part is it's all about divert, deceive, because they don't want the Epstein files to come out, and they're doing everything possible. The other thing people are nervous about are the midterms, when that Stephen Miller and they're talking about suspending the midterms. They can try, and they will try, but they will not succeed.
exactly. The
I mean,
thing
they're
that
keeping it
I have
shut
to
down.
remind myself is that people who operate from that evil point of view, and that's the easiest way I can describe it, is just evil, the hatefulness and just the vitriol that they spit out, is that eventually that evil starts eating them from within, and they wind up hurting themselves in the long run, and we're starting to see that now. They're already starting to implode from the inside out.
Well,
Excuse me.
I also think too. Boy, we sound great, don't we?
I'm telling you, our
I
own
also
TB ward right here.
sounds like. I also think I've got my old boss that's like, oh my goodness, I get it from Germany. It's the best stuff. I smell it and it opens everything up. Um, Vicks is the old Southern remedy for everything, but this stuff
Oh,
is great.
God, yes, I've got
Well,
it in
God
cream,
knows I'm greased with all that too.
I've got it in ointment form, in cream lotion form, and in inhaler form. So,
The dog won't even come near me. She comes near me, she takes off. She's like, I'm not having
oh
any.
yeah,
So, um, we digress, right? um, but I know that the people are asking about the midterms, and like I said about them suspending the midterms, they will try a lot of stuff. And they'll win a few battles, but they will not win the war. Like, they're not swearing in
no.
this lady in the House. I can't think of her name, because Johnson says the government is shut down. The only reason that,
And
and
he just got slapped with a real big lawsuit
hold on,
from Arizona.
Trump is behind that. And the
Yeah.
only reason
Oh
they're
yeah.
behind it is because she's the tipping vote on the whole Epstein file thing. And the Epstein files
Exactly.
will be released. They're going to be released, and they're going to be
Well,
released. I
the
didn't hear
young
about.
lady that committed suicide, her book just came out this past week, and there were names dropped, and there are people in panic mode right now going on. And Epstein's family, they have been dropping chunks of information from his personal files
And they're
that
going to
his
continue.
brother is now controlling.
And they're going to
So,
continue doing that. And
exactly.
the woman that committed suicide, Trump is going to try to vilify her. But when he does that, it's not going to bode well for him, because here we have a woman who lost her life to suicide, probably because of all of this, if there wasn't foul play involved. And it's not going to bode well.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You said something about Arizona with a lawsuit, and I interrupted you. I apologize. Go ahead.
The Attorney General of Arizona filed a lawsuit. They are suing Mike Johnson specifically, as well as the House of Representatives Republican leadership, for not allowing the citizens of Arizona to have their free and constitutional, how do they put it? Their freely elected and constitutional representation in Congress. So you've got several 100,000 people who currently have no representation in Congress. They have had their voices totally cut off because Speaker of the House refuses to swear in Representative Grijalda, I think is how it's pronounced. But and she's been in DC for like the last couple of weeks, literally there, waiting for him to do it anytime. And he runs and hides anytime he has to go in the chambers there because he doesn't want to get caught. There's been another judge, if I'm understanding this correctly, who has also come out and said that there was no excuse for him not swearing her in, especially after the election was certified by the state as being accurate with no issues. And the people of Arizona, I mean, even those who are Republican, are seriously pissed off. I mean, a lot of people may not think of Arizonians as being very, getting very uptight and upset like they do with people of Texas. I lived there for 10 years. Y'all don't want to screw with anybody in Arizona. I'm telling you, they're as bad as Texans. And there's some really upset people about this because, she has legitimately been certified as having won. And so he has run out of legitimate excuses that he can use for not swearing her in.
Well, the courts,
and
if it goes to the courts, they're going to say you have to swear her in. I don't know if the courts can do it. They might expedite it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's going to say the same thing. She was duly elected. You have to swear her in. I mean, it's the Constitution. You got to do it. You have no choice.
He did an interview on one of the Sunday morning shows, where he tried to use the excuse, well, it's precedent set by Nancy Pelosi because she didn't swear in somebody for like a month after they won. And thank God the reporter knew their stuff and actually said, well, wait a minute. She didn't swear that woman in because she was asked to wait until that date because she was still dealing with the funeral and all the stuff from her husband, whose position she took over.
Right.
And she specifically asked, can you wait and swear me in on this date? And Nancy Pelosi said, absolutely, that will be fine. And I have never in my life seen somebody trip over their own tongue trying to back himself out of that corner.
So he got caught in his liable omissions, and that's exactly what's going to continue to happen. Somebody says here, C Chubb 888 says, hi, beautiful leaders. Bannon says Trump will be president in 2028. Help. Hold on a minute. Hold the fort. Bannon can say anything he wants, but Bannon is a convicted felon. He was pardoned by Donald Trump, but it doesn't make him any less a convicted felon. And they can say all they want that he's going to be president for a third term, but the Constitution says they can only serve 2 terms. And I think to change that, you have to have a certain majority of the states to vote to say they want to change it.
They would have to have a constitutional change of an amendment, and that takes 2/3 of the states to agree and sign off on it.
And they don't have 2/3 of the states.
No,
so
they don't have the numbers for that.
Say whatever you want, but guess what, Steve? You can say it all you want, but it doesn't make it so. So, it's people like Steve Bannon who are putting fuel on these fires. And, I see Steve Bannon under investigation again. I see him going back to jail. I see him charged with both state and federal offenses. And on the state offenses, president can't pardon him. So Mr. Bannon is going to be in a lot of trouble. And I see him losing his wealth. So
Clarence asked a good question. Can a court judge swear her in?
That I don't
Technically, yes. From what I heard, I think it was Popak, one of the Midas Touch lawyers that has their own show. They were talking about it. There are certain circumstances where any federal judge can swear in a representative if there are outstanding situations where they can't either get to Congress to be sworn in, or the speaker is unable to get there to swear them in, and then it can be done by a federal judge. Now, that's what this person was talking about that I saw on with, I think it was Popak that I was watching. So I'm not sure why this may be a little different with her, but the fact that he doesn't have to have Congress open to swear her in. He could swear her in and still leave Congress out, with the government shut down. That's not going to change anything. So he's run out of excuses that would be legitimate. And they are now, it's like glaringly obvious to anyone and everyone, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, that he's simply withholding her being sworn in because the current occupant of the White House doesn't want her sworn in.
And the current occupant of the White House doesn't want her sworn in because she's the tipping scale on the Epstein
files. Yep. Epstein, however the hell you say it.
In German is Epstein.
Yeah. But I always heard him refer to himself as Epstein, so that's why I say it that way. I was like, I don't care, whatever. So I
still think that, Bannon can say whatever he wants, but Bannon is going to be indicted again and go to jail on state charges and federal charges. So the same as will happen with Kim Bondi, and the same that will happen with Kash Patel. All of these guys are going to be in trouble. This is making the Nixon years look tame. The only difference is during the Nixon years, the Republicans had certain parts of the anatomy to speak up and protect our democracy.
Exactly. Sheila was saying Arizona should sue him on the personal, civil level and criminally. There are several lawsuits wrapped up in one. I think that hits all aspects of that, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go back and reread the litigation, but the people of Arizona are pissed. And basically, the Attorney General has been on any and every news program that will let her come on to explain why they file suit and why what the speaker has done is so egregious, and how basically what they're doing is they are denying her constituents in Arizona their rightful voice in Congress. The speaker made a comment last weekend, something about, well, she should be in her office, doing her work, whether she signed in or not. And she made a direct response to that and said, well, it's a little hard to do that when I don't have a phone. They won't hook it up until I'm sworn in. I don't have a government email address because I don't get that assigned until I'm sworn in. I don't have staff that I can have come in and work because I haven't been sworn in. So it's like he's wanting to blame all this stuff. And she's like, there's nothing I can do but sit in an empty office. And if somebody comes by, yeah, I can talk to them. But she has no way to call out, no way to email, no way to do any of the stuff that she would normally be doing as a representative.
Well, I see her being much more vocal about this. The other thing is that my psychic light bulb just went on. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. But I'm just curious. And my guides just popped this thought into my head. And my psychic light bulb went on. By him not swearing her in could be an impeachable offense. And that could be grounds to get rid of him as Speaker of the House. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. But notice if it ever got back to Trump, Trump would say, well, I didn't do it. It was Mike Johnson that refused to swear her in, blah, blah, blah. So Trump always gets people to do his dirty work, but yet like the mafia chief, it's just almost so it never touches him directly.
Yeah.
But that is going to bite him in the rear end, because a lot of time that he's put other people up to doing, they're going to say, but wait a minute, it was your influence or your orders behind the scenes that caused them to do this. He's going to say no, but they'll have proof that Trump has indeed told these people what to do. So I see Trump and
that's it. And those that are working for Trump, whether they're an elected position or just a hired position, they don't have immunity.
No.
Only Trump has immunity. And from some stuff I've been hearing is the Supreme Court is talking about taking that away.
They are going
now,
to.
Maybe it's wishful thinking. Yeah, but
it's going to be changed.
You're seeing the same thing I'm seeing.
They're going to say, look, if you knowingly commit a crime, even if you're president, you're not immune. They're going to redefine that. I just have to change the topic for a second. Innocent.
Yeah.
She makes me laugh. She says, Mel, I guess jet lag doesn't bother you. Yeah, it does, innocent potato. But, it's like when I'm on my trips or when I'm working, no matter how bad I feel, I still put on my smiley face and do my work. So it does bother me. But usually after a good night's sleep, then the jet lag, then I'm okay. That's all it takes for me. But I wasn't too badly jet lagged coming home because we're 7 hours behind France. Going, then I was.
It's a different story.
Yeah, it's like a
little wall-eyed at that point.
Yeah, right. And when I went to Peru, I didn't get jet lag because they're on the same time zone we are. It was just like being on a ride for like 7 hours.
Yeah. So and I think this past weekend, I think there was for those people who were just kind of
excuse me,
not happy with the way things were going, but not really expressing it. When he had backhoes show up and just literally ripped the east wing off of the building, I think that was like a major breaking point for a lot of people of what I've been seeing and reading online. People on TikTok and Facebook and stuff like that. Is like people that kind of didn't really act like they cared, one way or the other. Like, okay, whatever he's doing, it doesn't affect me. But there was something about seeing those backhoes show up and not just watch professional teams come in and dismantle the East Wing so that it could then be reconstructed into a museum somewhere because it's a historical part of a historical building. No, it was backhoes showed up and just started ripping this shit off. And he was trying to get them to put up stuff to block people from being able to film it because one of the government offices that's like across the field faces that portion of the White House, and you had all the employees at the windows live streaming it as it was happening. Jim Acosta, the journalist that had such a hard time with him the first go round, he literally grabbed his phone and took off running and got down there and started filming it himself just off his iPhone and doing a lot. He didn't have his people with him, nothing. He was just doing his thing. Yeah.
This is problematic in so many ways. Number one, the money to do this was not approved by Congress. And he's saying,
Right.
oh, it's the private companies that paid for it. Well, why couldn't those same private companies have put money forward to help the people in this country get a paycheck? And number
Feed their
two,
kids.
he's just giving the middle finger because he's telling people, I can do what I want to do. I want my ballroom. I'm going to get it no matter what. I don't care what you say. Number three, and the thing that really, really burns my rear end is there's this government shutdown going on that he's blaming on the Dems, which is not the Dems' fault. You know, he has got the government shut down because he really doesn't care.
Well,
The other part,
I had this discussion with.
hold on. The other part of it is that here we are with a government shutdown. People aren't getting paid. People have been furloughed. They don't know how they're going to pay their mortgages, how they're going to pay their bills. And he is wasting money in the middle of a government shutdown for this. And I will lay you odds. I will lay you $1 to a donut. He's going to find some way to try to screw those contractors out of the money that they
absolutely
doing this.
There was
like saying, let the American people eat cake.
Yeah, there is a list of donors, you know, elite people who have supposedly donated money to do this. Well, there was some kind of I'm not sure if they did it as a lawsuit yet or if they just posted it as get prepared, because it's like, if you signed on to this, you broke the law. If you paid money into doing this, you broke the law. Yeah, I mean, it was like a whole list of things that if they had any part in any of it, they broke the law. And that there are a group of attorneys that have decided, if your name is on this list, we are going after you. So be prepared. And so we very well could be seeing some of these very wealthy donors suddenly pulling out of giving any money in. And there was also there was something else I was going to say and I forgot it. So but yeah, I mean, it's just it wasn't just the fact that they demolished the East Wing, but it was the way they did it. They didn't have any of the permits or the paperwork to do it. So whatever company showed up and started swinging those backhoes stands a real good chance of not only losing their license to operate in the future, but may not ever be able to do that kind of work again.
But Donald Trump doesn't care. He doesn't care.
No,
he will give.
He doesn't care.
He will get what he wants at all costs. But I've got news for him. My guides are telling me that, you know, once he's gone, please God, you know.
Yeah.
That, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like, get him out of office. But once he's gone, that all of that stuff he did to the East Wing is all going to be torn out, and it's going to be replaced like it was before he got his dirty little paws on it. So his ballroom is going to flop big time. A lot of those companies that donated money to that cause, and that's just a shill. It's just a shill because they're not donating enough to cover all the cost of it. But people are going to boycott those companies, and the people are going to
Exactly.
say, "Wait, you donated to that? We're boycotting you." But behind the scenes, I'm sure Trump told them, "If you donate this, I'll do this for you." But guess what?
Right. And
Renege on
he's
that.
not going to do it.
Right.
And something that what I was trying to say earlier and I forgot, is individuals and corporations cannot donate money to the government to participate in any kind of destruction, or deterioration of anything within that government structure that they're talking about. And you mentioned, he's doing this out of spite. Yeah, he's in the process of shipping $40 billion to Argentina, which he hasn't gotten permission from Congress to send, while Americans are looking to come Saturday are going to lose their health care, or they're going to have their premiums triple or quadruple in price. I don't think I'm not freaking out. I have my health care through my job, but Jesus, I can barely afford my premiums now. I hate to think what it's going to cost come Saturday if they don't get their crap together and do the right thing.
They don't care. That's the whole
exactly.
thing.
They don't care.
Let them eat cake. Here, Tina Childers says there's a total buying blackout planned from November 25th to December the 5th in the U.S. So plan not to shop on those days. This was put out by Indivisible last week. I don't get that, but anyway, so there's a shopping blackout on those days. So just don't shop on those days,
And to top it off with Argentina is he's now saying he's going to import their beef to help their beef farmers.
If you need food,
you got our beef ranchers here in this country that are having a conniption fit because it's cutting them off at the knees.
If you need to buy food, but I'm going to follow the blackout. I'm not going to buy anything on those days.
Exactly.
Not going to happen.
And
plus that new president of Argentina is pro-Trump. He's right-winger, and so naturally Trump helped put him in office. So naturally he's going to, I'm sending you all this money and blah blah blah. But how much you want to bet that beef that we get from Argentina that we're still going to pay 3 times the price for it in our stores here? How much you want to bet?
Oh yeah, and there's not going to be the assurances that beef is properly cared for.
And I wonder
if that our beef goes through.
My guides just showed me this. They show me Trump's palm being greased by the president of Argentina, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So Trump has his hand taking money off that deal. Trump has his hand taking money off that deal.
Yeah, because he is so busy having his temper tantrums because people showed up and protested against him because of the dumbass shit he's done already. But everything he does and says, he just makes it worse on himself. And I have a feeling that this time around, when we have enough votes to actually impeach him, that this time it's going to hold. And there have been a group of several of the historical society groups that keep an eye over all the buildings and stuff that have historical content. They're talking about they're getting ready to file lawsuits against him for not following the proper protocol and having, if he wanted to get rid of the East Wing, there were steps that he needed to take to do it. And
I guess my question is, why did he pick on the East Wing? Why was the East Wing his chosen thing?
Because that's the side that the ballroom's going to be on.
I know that.
And he wasn't going to tear off the West Wing because that's where he's at. The East Wing is for the first ladies, and he doesn't give a crap about that.
That's my
You
whole
know,
point. That's my whole
yeah.
point. And I see the Rose Garden being brought back at some point.
Oh, absolutely. They have salvaged when they took all that stuff out. That there were arborists there who managed to salvage as much of the trees and the roses and everything that they could. Um, he got really pissed off after he did it the first time, and Biden came in, and within the first year, they managed to put it all back because they had saved it. And he tried to do it in such a way this time that they couldn't salvage anything, but people were smart and they were a step ahead of him, so they went in and but yeah, the people, the companies that have been doing all this stuff that's been supposedly behind him, they're getting ready to get a real comeuppance too, because
That's what I just said.
folks are not, yeah, folks are not going to buy their stuff.
People aren't going to buy their stuff.
And
I, for one,
this
won't buy their stuff. And I'm
exactly.
advising everybody not to buy their stuff.
And then to top it off, this has pissed Obama off so much that he's been out and about on circuits talking about it. And yeah, I mean, in his normal way, because he's just so well versed in all of this stuff and what can and can't be done and what is and isn't allowed. You Newsom, who is just beating it into the ground with this stuff. And he made a statement this weekend. He was asked, are you going to be running for president? And he said, I would be lying if I said I hadn't considered it. He said, so I can't. He says, it's not a definite yes, it's not a definite no. I'm still thinking on it. Kamala Harris did an interview this same weekend where she was asked from the BBC if she was going to run again. And she made the comment, it's a possibility. I have not made up my mind.
But here's the thing. If Donald Trump gets to run for a third term, then what stops Barack Obama from saying, I'm running for a third term?
Yeah, exactly.
What stops anybody? I just saw from JWB 52Z9, it says, one of the liberal SCOTUS judges was asked about a possible third term, and she said, it's never been tested to see if it would hold. Okay, so if that's the case, then the Constitution, I think, prohibits it. So it's unconstitutional. Even, I don't know if the Supreme Court says it is or it isn't, how that's going to vote. But
no, it's a constitutional amendment on only, you can only serve 2 terms. They do not have to be consecutive. And the only reason why that amendment was put into the Constitution was when FDR won his 4th term and then died before he could even really get in there and do anything.
How much do you want to bet if Barack Obama came out and said, I'm going to run for a third term, the MAGAs and Trump would go BS crazy? You can't.
Absolutely.
And what Trump would say is, yes, but that only means 2 consecutive terms. I didn't serve 2 consecutive terms. Doesn't matter. You still had 2 terms.
It just says 2 terms. It does not say consecutive.
I've got a funny feeling. My guys are telling me that Newsom's going to put his hat in the ring. And my guys are telling me he will be our president. I see Newsom as president.
That's what I keep seeing, that he's going to win. I keep seeing Kamala as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Good.
Which
yay.
That's that. I did a couple of draws on it. I had like a little vision of it, of her being sworn in as Chief Justice, and I was like, whoa. And I did a reading and it backed it up, and I was waited a few days and I did it again and it backed it up. And so
be a judge, I don't think she
was I don't think so. Okay, chatters, do your thing. Do you have to be a judge in order to be a justice? I don't think you do.
I don't
I
know.
think you have to be at least a lawyer, but I don't think you have to be a judge.
I could see her as a attorney general. She'd be great.
But oh God, turn her loose and watch the feathers fly. Um, but
I've got to wrap up here soon because I'm starting to fade fast.
yeah, well, and we've been at this for 50 minutes, and it's been great. I know I'm still not 100%. I got home from work. I had to lay down for like over 30 minutes just to get my strength back up. And I know Mel is still sick, so we're gonna wrap it up right here. And we had upwards of almost 350 in the room. Wow, that's a big plus for me. I'm almost at 10,000. I'm like 8,300, I think, or something like that. So
you'll get
y'all
there.
push it. For everybody this is what I meant to say earlier. For everybody that was complaining about it, I can't chat. I had to put it on slow mode, y'all, because I can't keep up when it's regular. The chat goes too fast and I can't keep up. So I had to put it on slow mode. So unless you're a moderator, you have to wait. I think it was like a minute from one statement to the next. And I meant to tell y'all that at the beginning. Hi, Viviani. I didn't see you there. And
hi, everybody.
And Terry and Maureen D'Amico, her brother is very ill. Y'all, please keep him in your prayers. Very much so, and so that we can get him taken care of and her family covered. And
everyone, please send healing energy to Arthur.
Absolutely, Arthur's down with it now too. So, okay, Jason said no. You don't have to be a judge or anything to be a justice.
Okay,
they can put anybody in. I like that information.
I got to run. I'm fading fast.
Yep, me too. All right, guys, y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night. I'll be on with Mel for Aloha Tuesday. So